Yo, what's up guys, BY Gaming here, and in today's video I want to talk about why I settle for Legendary 2 League in PvP, and why I don't go for Legendary 1. And I also want to encourage you guys watching this video to do the same. So before we get into why this is, I want to please ask that you drop a like on this video to show your support to the channel. Now that being said, I want to break this down into two categories here. And number one is the requirements for each, and number two is the rewards. So what you would be walking away with if you placed in each of these leagues. So to place in Legendary 2, you only need 6,500 trophies, which is, in the later end of the game as a fairly advanced player, not super difficult to get, right? 6,500 trophies isn't that bad, right? And if you compare it to Legendary 1, you need 7,000 trophies minimum. So if you don't even have 7,000 trophies, it doesn't matter if you're in top 1,000 or not, you can't place in Legendary 1. So you need a minimum of 7,000 trophies, and as I just mentioned, you need to be in the top 1,000 players to get these rewards, right? And now, being in Legendary 1 doesn't really mean much. You actually have to finish here to get the rewards. So I want you guys to keep that in mind as well. So just looking at the requirements, it is much, much higher to place in Legendary 1, obviously, because that's why it is a league above Legendary 2. But yes, you need 7,000 trophies minimum, and you need to be in the top 1,000 players. And now what really kills it is the top 1,000 players, because if you guys have tried as, fairly average players with other things to do, it's not that easy to place in Legendary 1. Being in the top 1,000 is maybe not that difficult if you want to just get up there, but staying up there is pretty difficult because the competition up there is fierce, and if you leave for a couple of hours without grinding, you'll find that your position has actually dropped by like maybe 100 places, maybe a couple hundred, depending on how long you've been away for. And so, yes, the upkeep to stay in Legendary 1 is much, much higher than Legendary 2, just on the fact that there's this additional criteria of having to be in the top 1,000 players. You know what I'm saying? Like Legendary 2, you don't have to be anywhere except for 6,500 trophies. So as long as you stay above 6,500, you're guaranteed to place in this league. Whereas Legendary 1, again, if you're gone for too long or you just happen to slack off a little bit, you're going to drop to Legendary 2 anyway because you'll be easily kicked out of the top 1,000 players. I've only placed in Legendary 1 one time, and I can say that, even at the time investing money into the game fairly heavily and having some top tier monsters, it was not that easy to place in top 1,000 and stay there, right? I would fight up there. I had Crew Electric. This is back when he was just released, and I think I was in the top 300 something players, and I ended up finishing in 800th place that tournament, which is ridiculous, right? I left for only a few hours because I went to sleep and I wasn't going to stay up all the way to the end of the tournament, and I found out the next morning that I was almost out of the top 1,000 by the time that happened. So yes, I think that just based off of requirements alone, it is much, much harder to place in Legendary 1, and so just for that fact alone, I would say Legendary 2 is much more appealing just on the fact that it is more accessible to everyday players. Unless you're, a crazy player who really is obsessed with placing Legendary 1, it's much, much more comfortable and fun to place in Legendary 2. So that's the first thing. Next thing I want to talk about is the rewards here. Now, if you take a look at what you get for placing in Legendary 2, you get 6 gold relic chests, which I believe each one has a 10% chance of giving you a diamond relic. So you have, a 60% chance of getting a diamond relic from these. Assuming it stacks here, you get 2 level 9 to 10 rune chests, and you get 100 cells for the PvP monster of that season, or that tournament, whatever you want to call it. And that is something I don't really even consider a reward because it is too darn easy to get cells for these monsters anyway. So the thing that I really want to focus on here is the 6 gold relic chests and the 2 level 9 to 10 rune chests. That's what you get. Now, if you take a look at Legendary 1, you get 1 diamond relic chest and 2 level 10 rune chests. So naturally you might say, well, of course Legendary 1 is worth it because you get 2 level 10 rune chests, and those are not easily accessible anywhere else in the game aside from, spending gems to buy them. And you would be correct. Level 10 runes objectively are the best to go for, but they actually have a downside, which is that you have to pay a fee in gems to take them off your monsters. So let's say you have a bunch of level 10 runes that you get from this tournament. It's not like you can just freely recycle them between monsters each time you want to, try out a new monster and build up a new team. You have to pay to take them off. So it's not even like that big of a reward if you think about it, right? And the second reason why I think this is not worth it is because if you take a look at the difference, the inherent difference between level 9 and level 10 runes, you'll find that there really isn't one at all, right? You can see that a level 10 strength rune gives a 102% damage boost, and a level 9 gives a 96% damage boost. So it's not really like there's even that big of a difference. And you can also see here that even level 8s are not that far off from level 10s, right? Even level 7s are pretty decent. So that's the reason why, that's another reason I should say, why I don't think going for Legendary 1 is worth it, is because the difference between level 9 and 10 runes is not even that great. And I want to mention here that you also can get a level 10 rune from these 9 to 10 chests as well. Like, I know that there is a chance, and you're probably going to end up with a level 9, but you could also get level 10s from this as well. So yeah, just taking a look at the difference here, there isn't much of a difference in terms of utility, and I definitely think that it's not worth going through all that extra effort just to get something that is slightly and marginally better than what you'd easily be able to get if you just placed in Legendary 2. Alright? And I also want to mention that, like, the only time you ever really need level 10 runes for a fact is, number one, for PvP. So, I mean, just take a look at that. It's an endless cycle. You're basically going through PvP to get resources to be able to go through PvP. So it's just an endless loop. And so if that weren't enough, another thing that you only need it for is basically high level wars and so on, right? So if you're like me and you just engage in some basic wars, things that aren't too crazy, you know, maybe some like mid-tier wars and so on, and only care about Legendary 2, you don't really even need level 10 runes. Like, yes, objectively, by all stretches of the imagination, it would be better to have level 10s than 9s, because why get something worse when you can have something better? But again, for these purposes and also for dungeons and casual play, even level 7s do pretty well. Like, take a look at the mythic dungeons. There is a rank up survival dungeon that you can go through every day, and I've been able to make it through this with, like, I don't know, level 7 runes on my monsters. You can see my Kill Drill has 3 level 7 strength runes. My Fufflins, the Fruit Taster here, has 2 level 7 life runes, and my Mr. Not Found has a couple of level 7s as well, and a level 6. So when it comes to, you know, daily fun play, you don't really even need level 10 runes in the first place. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the reason why I don't think going for Legendary 1 is even worth it. You know, if you're one of those hardcore players who just gets a kick out of it, then sure, by all means, go for it. But for those of you watching this video, I definitely want to encourage that you stay in Legendary 2. It's much easier, and the rewards are not even that much worse, you know? So if you want to go for Legendary 1, it's like, you're going to have to put in much, much more work to get up there. And for what reason? You know, if you take a look at what you get out of this whole thing, it's not like, you know, your name's going to go down in history if you place up here. No one really cares. It's just a game. So yeah, I would say personally, at the end of the day, go for the thing that is the most fun and most accessible. And that's Legendary 2. Much easier, 6,500, no additional criteria of being in the top whatever to place there. And you get rewards that are arguably almost as good. So heck, like, why would you go for Legendary 1? It doesn't make any sense. You know, the upkeep is quite high up there too. So I have mentioned that before. Definitely not worth it in my opinion. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it was informative and helpful. If it was, please drop a like on this video letting me know. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.